welcome to another video. Today we'll be looking at Courseplay for Farming Simulator 19. More specifically, we'll be looking at how to set up Courseplay for Fertilize and Seeding. And we're still on Eiersholt, which is my map for Farming Simulator. And field number 31 is ready for seeding. Last time we cultivated the field using Courseplay, and today we'll be seeding the field also using Courseplay. I want to be sowing some sunflowers on this field, and for that purpose I have the Lemkin kit attached to my John Deere, and we're pretty much ready to go. However, a small issue with this particular kit is that the tank on the sowing unit is not that big. It only holds 600 liters of seed, and although field number 31 is one of the smaller fields on this map, I highly doubt this tank is big enough to cover the entire field. So we will run out of seeds at some point during this seeding here. So to help that out, we're gonna have to set up a refill course. So this is gonna be one of the more complicated setups, but if you follow along, I'm sure we'll get through it just nicely. So the first thing we want to do is to set up the refill course. And to do that, we open the Courseplay HUD by clicking the right mouse button. And then we just want to be in the transport course, which is the one that we are in by default. Next thing we want to do is start up the engine. And click the start course recording. So for this purpose, I'm just going to turn up the engine again so we can hear ourselves talk. For this purpose, I have a tractor set up down here on the minimap. You can see down here the yellow dot. That has a trailer attached with some seed bags on it. The reason it stood so far away is that so I just open up here. On field number 53, I have another tractor running the exact same setup really. So that tractor is now seeding field number 53 and are refilling right there. So this is sort of kinda in between. So that's the reason we're going that far for this setup here. Alright, let's start up the engine and let's click the start course recording. So the transport course is one of those few courses where you don't need to have 3 waypoints in a relatively straight line to begin with. We can just drive as we please from the very beginning. So let's go ahead and get down there. And for this recording, I'm going to stay on the right side of the road here, he says, and drive straight into the middle. I want to try to stay as much as possible on the right side of the road so I can have more than one Courseplay course running here at the same time. It's a little bit tricky here because it's so hard to see because of the leaves, but we're doing just fine right now. I think the view is better from in here. Yeah, so I'm sticking to the right side of the road. The map is a European style map, which means that the traffic is driving on the right side of the road. Had this been a UK style map, I would of course have stick to the left side of the road. Right, over the bridge, and we have our Massey Ferguson stood on the field to the right of us down here. As you can see, he's standing in there. So we're just going to turn into the field and go past these seed bags up here. So we don't really need to set a waypoint or anything, we just need to pass them. Courseplay will detect their tip trigger and everything should be in order. So it's just heading back to the field once again. And we're going to go in cab view again just because it's a little bit quieter in here. So I'm going to give Courseplay a bit of a chance to handle this narrow bridge here by slowing down a bit in the corners. But I think this should work out just fine. The road is quite narrow, so perhaps not the ideal setup for this, but I think we'll do just okay. And let's get up here where we have the dirt road. This hill right here is quite steep. The tractor is struggling a little bit to get up here. The smaller tractors will struggle a lot to get up there. Okay, so once we come down here, it's just a matter of positioning the tractor right here. That seems about right. And click stop recording. Now we have the transport course set up. So I'm pretty sure this is going to work. There's no need for it not to work. So I'm just going to save it right now. And I'm going to call it 31 refill temp. Just so I know what the course is and that it is a temporary course that I can delete once I'm done here. And return to save or enter to save the course. And now I'm just going to clear out the current course so I can set up the field course. And for seeding and fertilizing, let's turn up the engine so we can hear each other. For fertilize and seeding, we want to be in the fertilize and seeding mode, which is this button here. And that's going to open up the course generation button, which we also saw in the fieldwork mode. And once we're in here, it is the exact same thing as it was in fieldwork mode. However, today, I think we're going to be taking a look at the advanced course generator. So let's open up this one here. So the difference here obviously is that you have a graphic overview of the entire map, and you have this the settings over here. So you have a bit more, I don't know, it's a bit more user-friendly to use, I suppose. Field edge path, the current loaded course. Now we don't have any, so we're just going to click on field number 31 and it will automatically insert itself up there. If we were on field 29, of course we would click there, 53 and so on. We're on field number 31. The starting location is going to be the current vehicle position. I could set it to something else if I wanted to. Select position on the map, for instance. Well, let's scroll in a bit. Now I could say that I would want to start down here, and I could click on the minimap or on the map down here, and it would set the start point down there, or over here, or on field number 29 or 50. Now this would be pretty silly, but it can be done. If I wanted to, if I had to, I would probably set the start point up here for this course, but I will be starting from the current vehicle position. The reason for that is I will be setting the return to first point. We're going to activate that. So the reason for doing this, for returning to first point, is once the implement is empty, once the seed tank is empty, I want the tractor to return to that point here and pick up the transport course that we just set up. For that to happen, I need it to return to this point. So the starting location will be at the current vehicle position. The starting direction will be automatic. I don't really care how Courseplay is going to handle the course. As long as the job is getting done, I'm perfectly fine. Bypass island, we don't have any islands on this field, so it's not relevant. If for some reason I wanted to skip a row, let's say that I only wanted to seed every second row, well, I would just skip one row. I have the option to set it up here. However, I want all of the field to be seeded, so I'm going to set this to 0. And as I just said, return to first point is activated. I only have this one tool, so there's no multiple tools. And the working width of this tool is 6 meters, so I'm not going to be changing that. Headlands, we're going to set those to, I'm going to set it to around, and I want 4 passes. We saw with the fieldwork mode that 3 passes of headlands was giving us a couple of issues with some trees. I think 2 times we ran into trees. Simply because the trees were placed so close to the edge of the field. So I'm going to try with 4 headland passes and see how that works. And the headland is going to be going around clockwise. I want to start work on the up and down rows, and the headland corners is going to be set to turn. It's not going to make any difference on this particular field, but I don't know, I just like it to be set to turn. It's personal preferences, you can set it as you want to. For me, turn works best, so that's how I like it. Then we have something here called field center. Now notice it says experimental, and it is experimental. I haven't had any explanation for this. I haven't seen any explanation for this. I actually am a little bit insecure of what it does, but if we try to generate the field course using these settings, let's see what happens. Now we get this overview of the field as we saw in fieldwork mode as well. Only this time we don't need to click any button to see it. We get it straight away. And we can see how Courseplay is going to handle this course here. And it looks perfectly fine. So we see that the start point is there. and it's going to go on the up and down rows to start with, and it's going to end with the headlands. So that's why the start of the course is green and the end of the course is red. We also see that the end of the course is over here, which is what we asked it to do. But what if we change this? Because we can change this from up and down. We can change it to field center racetrack. Let's see what happens if we generate this course. Okay, that looks a little bit weird. I honest to God, don't know what it's doing. Honest to God, I have no idea why this is happening. But it's not really what I wanted. I really don't know what they're trying to achieve here. Let's try to set field center to spiral and see what happens. Yeah, that doesn't really make it any better. Doesn't make it any better. But what happens if we try to change the headlands then? Right now we got the headlands going around, which means that all of the field has a headland. What happens if we set it to only want headlands on the short edges? That would mean that up here would be a headland and down here would be a headland. We still want the 4 passes, we still want clockwise, and we still want to start on the up and down rows. Let's try to generate this one. Yeah, that didn't work out well. I was not expecting that result. Right, okay. Wow. Let's try racetrack then. I was actually expecting it to fill out the entire field. Well, that didn't really make it any better. How about spiral? Nope, nothing. Right, we're gonna go back to having the around here because I know this works and this is how I want it to be. So let's generate this field course here. So this is how I want it to look. It is experimental and I guess it needs a little bit of work. And again, I haven't seen any explanation of what this is or how to use it. So I'm gonna be toying around with it and see what I can figure out. But right now, this is what I want. So let's return to this view, and we're pretty happy with this course. So let's save it, and we're gonna call it 31 seed temp, just so I know what it's doing, and it's a temporary course that I can delete once I'm done, and return to save course. So here we are. Now we want to combine the seeding course with the refill course. Otherwise, there's no point in having the refill course. So we're going to go into the manage courses, and you can see in here we have the 31 refill temp as well. Now we have the 53 as well, and that is, as I told you, I have a similar setup on a different field. So all I need to do now, we can see down here that the current course loaded is the 31 seed. So I'm going to append the 31 refill to this course here. And now this changes to 2 combined courses. We can also see that we have 2,808 waypoints in these 2 courses. There are 2 wait points and 4 crossing points. Don't worry too much about these. We will get back to those in a later video. But for now, we're actually okay with what we've been presented here. So let's hop into the Courseplay control again. So we want to start from the first waypoint. And let's start up the engine and drive into the field a little bit. So we should have the start point over there. So let's just, let's just drive it. Just gonna check that everything is as I wanted. I'm on field number 31, working with 6 meters. We're starting from where we stood. And it looks good. Looks perfectly fine. So, drive course. Courseplay is taken over now, and we can see that we have stop at last point or at next trigger is activated. That makes sense. Otherwise, if that was deactivated, Courseplay would start all over again once it was done with the course, and I don't really want it to do that. I think it's fine just seeding this particular field one time. That should do it. The combine convoy is deactivated. Now that makes sense. We only have this one vehicle running on the course, so we don't really need a convoy. Turn on field. Let's keep that activated. I want to show you the difference between turn on field activated and turn on field deactivated. And the opposite turn direction is for the last couple of lanes. Now, as I talked about in the fieldwork mode video, the opposite turn direction on the last couple of lanes is just to make sure that once the tractor reaches the last point of the field, It's going to turn on the inside of the field instead of going outside of the field. All right. The turn on field activated. Let's see what happens here. Now we have it activated right now. Notice what happens here. He came to the end of the up and down course, and he's actually reversing on what he just seeded and going over to the next lane. And then he's going to reverse back and lower the implement and do this lane. Now this is happening because although the headlands is part of this field, he's not seeing them as his active working part or his active working course. We told him to start on the up and down row, so the up and down row is what he sees as the field right now, if you could quotate that. Although the headlands is a part of the field, he's not using them right now. So if we turn off turn on field, so we deactivate it, let's see what happens once we come to the other end of this particular lane. Again, we have a quite big overlap on this lane here, and that is simply because Courseplay is aligning the courses so it will fit in the end. But so far it's actually looking okay. We are doing okay. We can see that the count for both Fertilize and Seed are going down, and we're already at 87%, 88% on the seeds. So those are going down quite fast, so we're not anywhere near getting close to the end of this field before we're empty. Okay, so now he's racing the machinery, and he's going to turn around on the headlands this time. For me personally, I prefer this way. If I didn't want to use headlands, the turn on field would be a perfect way of using it. But I like the idea of headlands. Perhaps that's because I'm an old-fashioned guy, I don't know. I just really like the idea of headlands, so I actually wanted to use the headlands. But yeah, here we go. We're actually doing okay. Now obviously for this to work, for this to make any sense whatsoever, if you're doing this, go into your settings, into your game settings, we're just saving a bit. Go into your game settings and turn off helper refill seed and helper refill fertilizer. With these turned off, you will have to set up a refill course. Otherwise, he will just buy a course or buy both fertilizer and seed as he needs it. But you know what? I'm going to shut up now, and Editor Martin will speed up this video drastically. So we will soon get to the transport course. I'll see you there, guys. This is going really well, at least for this tractor. It seems to be going quite well. Nothing gone wrong so far. Probably just jinxed it there. But he's running out of seats, and there it happened. So he's gonna fold the implement. You see he's turned on his beacons as well. And then he's gonna go back to the end of the field course, because that's what we told him to. And once he gets there, he's going to pick up the transport course, and we're going to follow him along. If it's a him, is it a her? It's a her. We're going to follow her along and see what happens. So she picked up the transport course, and now she's just driving as we recorded it. And I have to be honest, my recording was not the best for this course here, but I think we'll do just fine now. I noticed while this was going on that the other tractor is having some issues. It's not the same setup as we're using here. It's a bit different tool, and it doesn't seem like Courseplay is able to fill that tool, but this should be working fine, I hope. I haven't tested it, but I really hope it should be working fine. Let's see what happens when we get there. So far it's going okay. She's gonna cross the bridge. Oh shit, it's a bit wobbly. Well, she managed. I wonder if those pylons, if the collision on those pylons are making her wobble like that. So yeah, you can see the other tractor is driving in there. And it doesn't really go that well for that tractor. Let's see how it goes for this one. Well, it detected the trigger and it's filling the seeder as well. So this should be fine. Yeah, this tractor is going okay. I mean, doesn't seem to be an issue here. That tractor, on the other hand, has a problem. We might gonna have to take a look at that later on, but for now we're gonna be focusing on this. Wobbling over the bridge, everything's fine, it's cool. And let's just return to the field and pick up the field course. And she's going up the hill, and it is very, very steep, but yeah, we're gonna be fine. There we go. Back to the entrance of the field again. And I'm not moving a finger here, I'm just sitting here enjoying someone else doing my work. It's pretty nice, actually. So Courseplay is handling everything. Now she's back at the field and she's going to pick up the field course where she left off. So she's going to go back to where she ran out of seeds and unfold the implement and continue the course. She's not doing it in a straight line though, I noticed, but it shouldn't really matter. As long as she gets to where she wants to be or where she has to be, it should be fine. Here we go. Yeah, and we're back to seeding again. You can see the seed count is going down in the lower right hand corner. Alright, well this is going well. She's doing fine. Perfectly fine. So while she's moving along here, let's just head over to the other tractor and see why that is not going as it should do. So it detects that there's something there, but that's it. Alright, let's stop this one. And let's just refill this if we can. So for some reason I cannot fill this with Courseplay. I have no idea why, but it turns out I can't do that with Courseplay. But we're gonna send this tractor of it on its course again. Let's just see if we can come out here on the road and oops, take the next closest waypoint. All right, drive course. So what do we have here? It's a girl as well. So she should get back to where she left off as well, on the field course. Hopefully. I'm just gonna turn these off again, and let's just see that she goes back to the field. I just want to make sure that she goes back to the field again. Yeah, she picks up the field course and she knows where she's going. All right, it's a bug. Definitely is something that the Courseplay developers will have to look at. I'm going to report it to them. But talking about that, yes, Courseplay is in a development state and there will be bugs like you just saw here. This was just one of them, but there can be lots of other bugs. All right, I'm going to focus on this tractor because this one actually works. So Editor Martin will once again speed up the time quite a lot. So I'll see you guys when we're just about done with this field. Well, looks like we're not going to be able to complete this this field on 2 refills. So let's go for a 3rd refill, but we're going to follow her along this time. The seeding course has been going really well. There hasn't been a single hiccup from this tractor. The other tractor is empty again and is just milling around, driving up to the refill point and back to the field without actually doing anything. It's okay, it's a bug, it'll get fixed, I suppose. Let's jump in cab view and just enjoy the ride here. It is a pretty looking area of the map right here. But I was actually expecting us to be able to complete the field on 2 refills. Doesn't matter, we know that this refill course works, so there's not really much to it. It's just taking up a little bit more time, but that's fine. And the shadows are getting long, so it's just about perfectly timed that we're just about done with this field now. So we can give this tractor a bit of a rest once it's done here. One thing I noticed as well is currently it doesn't appear that the fertilizer tank is getting refilled when we reach this refill point. Suppose I should report that as well. All right, back to the field again, and this time we should be able to complete the field. Meanwhile, that field is going to take a bit longer to complete with that tractor just milling around like that. But yeah, not much to do about that right now. It does look weird when she's crossing that bridge. It's a bit wobbly. So it's just about 1.5 lap of the headlands we're missing, and once that is done, well, we've completed the field. So I think I'm just gonna speed up the video again, or Editor Martin will speed up the video, and I'll meet you guys back here once it's done. Actually, I'm gonna jump out the tractor here and just let Courseplay handle it. Amazing. Let's just jump into the tractor and start the Courseplay driver and turn off the engine so we can actually hear each other. Alright, well, field number 31 has been seeded and Courseplay has taken care of everything. We haven't had a single hiccup on this course right here, so that's brilliant. So yeah, that's just about it, guys. That's how to set up Courseplay for Fertilize and Seeding and refilling your seeder, if of course you can refill it. Anyway, guys, the map we've been playing on has been Eiersholt, and it is soon ready for release. So keep an eye out on my Twitter, where I frequently update you guys what is going on. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Leave a like if you did, and leave a comment down below if you have any questions. And if you're new to the channel, you might consider subscribing. Funny thing happens here as well from time to time. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.